of
my
order,
time.
Mr. Chair,
The
for
point
DS
of-
Oaminal to make a presentation considering that he is not a member, is not an official of DPWH. This is a project entirely upon the supervision and implementation of DPWH. It has nothing to do with him.
Mr. Chair, the point of order does not, when we say point of order, there is a violation of the role. No, there is no role or raised by Marcoleta which serve as a basis for his point of order.
There is no rule, Mr. Chair.
I am,
We are ruling on the basis of my own resolution that there are infractions concerning the project in Osami City, and the project concerns the implementation of DPWH. So the DPWH are supposed to be the ones defending this project, not DS Oaminal.
DS Oaminal, can you answer his objection, his point of order?
Mr. Chair, as I said, there is no role violated which serves as a basis for his point of order. And
You are the
second
one
thing, Mr. Chair,
violating the
may
rule,
I still
Mr.
be
Chair.
allowed to, this is my time, Mr. Chair. No?
DS Marcoleta, please give leeway to explain his side why he will show this presentation.
Well, Mr. Chair,
I made a preliminary.
he should first present the personality, why he is the one presenting the project himself.
Mr. Chair, I had already made a preliminary remarks, Mr. Chair, and about to continue.
Not
Who
This is a
preliminary
project
remark.
funded.
Can we stick to a question and answer phase? Because this is an interpellation. So I would appreciate if we could...
The residents of the area, Mr. Chair, there are about 100 beneficiaries, residents, more or less. Of this,
Mr. Chair, may I make a manifestation that this slide was taken during the height of Sendong, Typhoon Sendong.
Mr. Chair, he can make manifestation
Mr.
later.
Chair. This was taken during the Typhoon Sendong, Mr. Chair, not in Laman. This is not in Laman.
Noted, noted.
Mr.
Noted,
Chair.
please do not engage.
Is
a
this in
question.
Barangay Laman? I want to ask him. Is this Barangay
Is this in
Laman?
Barangay Laman?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
That is not in
That is
Laman,
the-
Mr. Chair. I will ask residents.
Please listen,
the ethics
please do not
committee,
engage
they will
one another and ask
identify
the
all
chair directly your questions.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, this slide is misrepresenting and he is misleading this court, this committee. This is not in Laman. This is somewhere else, maybe Malaubang, but this was taken at the height of Typhoon Sendong, which is 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Huwag tayo mag-i-slide and do not put us drawings here.
May I just be
You
allowed
can
to
put
continue?
up the
Yes,
best drawings here. That this is not the way.
Please,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm putting this on record because of an earlier statement that this representation did not have all the names of the residents who were complaining of the demolition. As a matter of fact, on January 11, 2020, 15 residents and their families already wrote to the committee secretary of the Committee on Ethics and Privileges, asking that their case be heard on issue of dignity, reputation, and conduct of a lawmaker, and I was given a copy of their complaint filed in the Committee of Ethics. So it is not an imaginary. It's not imaginary, Mr. Chair. This is a real case filed by residents in.
but let's stick to 1197 House Resolution.
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
I was about to say, but you have rolled it already, and I move that it should be stricken out of the records. That particular.
We do not take striking out very like left and right. We strike out. I think I've ruled, and that is enough. DS Oaminal.
Considering, Mr. Chair, that these people, by way of my party list representation as representative of urban poor sectors, and considering further our advocacy to help them, Mr. Chair, I intervene by way of asking several officials of concerned agencies to look into those complaints, specifically the demolition of their houses during the pandemic, Mr. Chair. So initially, I touched base with the DILG, particularly Undersecretary Echeverry, and considering further, Mr. Chair, that Secretary Anyo at the time was COVID positive and he was under quarantine, I was able to talk to OIC Florese. I asked them to look into what was happening on the ground because this concerns the houses the dwellings of the residents. And the order of the government at the time, Mr. Chair, is to stay home. And LGUs, I understand, were instructed to accommodate people, to shelter them from the onslaught of COVID-19. Until the end of September, December, Mr. Chair, until all the houses were demolished, I'm not sure how and why the agencies I asked to intervene, even the PNP, Mr. Chair, I asked the police officers to look into whether or not the demolition followed the rule of law. Because as a lawyer, Mr. Chair, I know that demolitions can only be had by court issues, by demolitions orders or writs issued by the court. I was able to verify on the ground, and with the confirmation of Yusek Echeverry, that there were no court orders coming from the RTC of Osamis City, Mr. Chair. That is why I filed this resolution to look into this, to get to the bottom of this, Mr. Chair. I have several questions to the invited agencies, and I just hope, Mr. Chair, that they will answer honestly and with complete accuracy. I'd like to thank the Speaker, Alan Lord Velasco, for his full support in this resolution. I'd like to thank the Majority Leader, Mr. Chair, for referring this issue to your committee. And Mr. Chair, I'd like to thank you for immediately scheduling the hearing for today. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, before we go on with the statements of the invited guests, may I allow to make manifestation?
Yes, DS Oaminal. 5 minutes.
Yes, even less.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Mr. Chair, I commend the leadership of the committee for the prompt action that you have taken in conducting this hearing today when the matter was referred to you, because prompt resolution on this matter would give clarifications and satisfaction with all the people concerns. On the outset, Mr. Chair, as I listened from your preliminary remarks, that under our role, the jurisdiction of the committee is on matters directly and principally relating to malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance in office committed by officers and employees of the government. And that is why I was listening from the honorable sponsor, the honorable author of the resolution. I was trying to hear from him on how this malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance in office committed by what office and who are the officers and employees. And as I hear from him, he said that there were calls for assistance, and he did not mention who are these people affected. I am the district representative of the city of Osamis, where it belongs, and the very barangay concerned. I am also a resident of this barangay. And considering the what I got from the chair before the start of the hearing, that before making a determination on whether or not the committee has jurisdiction on the matter, that he wants to listen from the different resource speakers. So as part of the leadership, I fully support the call of the chair. And as he said, that he doesn't want that this committee, this process would be taken advantage by any politicians, by any member to further one's interest, but for the interest of the people in general that we are serving. So because of that, Mr. Chair, instead of for me to move for a motion to whether or not the committee has jurisdiction, I am reserving that, Mr. Chair, in support of your leadership after hearing the resource speakers that are present today. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I think he was given the right to speak only for preliminary statements. He is now trying to defend already the demolition and talking about the legal certainties or legal rules that they are trying to invoke. So I think he should only answer questions. Maybe we can proceed already.
Mr. Chair, as in answer to your query, the resource speaker was just asking about 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
to,
okay.
to complete, and more so, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, that the resource speaker was commenting on the resolution.
In order to
Recognized.
appease Congressman Biloso, I will lay down the premises. First, this hearing was called simply because this representation would like to know why a project funded by the national government through expropriation, which did not follow certain processes, was built on a private land. One of the components of this housing project, Mr. Chair, was even built on a public land, which is an inalienable part of the patrimonial domain of this country. I'd like to ask whether or not the expropriation process followed the legal procedures. For example, did the city government went through the Office of the Solicitor General or the OGCC based on the provisions of Republic Act 10752? Also, did the local government know that under Republic Act 7279, parcels of land belonging to small landowners are exempted from expropriation, and that expropriation can only be resorted to after exhausting other modes of land acquisition, namely land banking, land swapping, land negotiation, donation to government, community mortgage, etc., etc. The last resort, Mr. Chair, is expropriation if the other modes of acquisition have been exhausted. And then, finally, the law says that if you resort to expropriation, parcels of land belonging to small lot owners are exempted. And so, there are so many things, Mr. Chair.